Well, good morning, everybody. Uh, I hope my mic is working okay. It's still not warmed a whole lot out there. It's about right at freezing this morning. I thought it was going to be a lot warmer, but I think it's going to get there someday. Let's see, Lucinda, Helen, a little bit. Glad to see you. Uh, as usual, I don't have a whole lot out there to. Hi, Terry. On the line to talk about, and for once, I'm kind of glad that there's less to talk about. I fly in the sky. Yes, happy Valentine's Day to you too. My mama, Oki, good to see you on here this morning. I got up nice and early, got the pups all taken care of, the walk around the yard, got my breakfast done. I haven't washed the dishes. Rin, Grumpy, good to see you in here this morning. I know it's Valentine's Day, so I won't keep you real long on here. I thought I'd better just get on here to at least say hi. Rin, Sylvia. I got a little bit of ice cream in the fridge. Usually when I get down to where I've only got enough for a small bowl, then I run into Walmart and pick some up. Everybody hear me okay on here today? Do I need to adjust anything or? Well, you have your daughter's birthday today, Rin? Tell her happy birthday for us. 9 chins. Yes, I see in here. Are you out of the doghouse or whatever got you where you couldn't be seen yet? I think I've got you in top chat here. It's supposed to be live chat. Okay. Not yet. You haven't got out of the doghouse. Okay. Are you behaving yourself now or? Current Chaos, I see you there. Glad to see you here this morning. Yeah. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody out there. So, I feel pretty good today. I got plenty of sleep for a change. And looking at stuff that I've got to do to get ready for my vacation that's coming up pretty soon. Kevin Jays, I see you on there. Yeah. Is Mo Magic on there? I don't. Oh, there you are. I don't know how I missed you. I must have looked down for some reason and missed you coming in. Good morning there, Mo Magic, and happy Valentine's Day. Yeah, I was on the internet trying to figure out what I want to do as far as accessories and things like that for the trailer and truck. I'm kind of wishing I wouldn't have sold my motorhome when I did. It was all equipped. I always had it ready. It was always full of fuel and all the tools that it took to maintain it, and it had new tires on it when I sold it. Oh heck! But hindsight is always better than foresight, anyway. At least you seem to be a little smarter when you're on the. What we got here? Bearded. Oh, good morning. Noreen, good morning and happy Valentine's Day. Yeah, it's kind of overcast here, and it's just barely 32 out there for some reason. Uh, I was thinking it was supposed to be 25 degrees warmer than normal for this time of the year, but it hadn't got there yet. Scampy girl, good to see you on here. Happy Valentine's Day. Edie, I see you're on here. Happy Valentine's Day. I'll hug you back. How's that? Yeah. Is this mic loud enough that you can hear me okay out there? Great, great. Well, I'm going to fix me another chef salad today. My pickled eggs are now pickled, and they're not quite hot enough like I like them, but they're good enough for my chef salad. And I think I'll probably have it sometime around 1:30 or 2 today. So I'm gonna have some shrimp in there, and tomatoes, onion, lettuce, of course. And the shrimp, I'm going to cook up a sauce of butter, a little bit of olive oil, lots of garlic, and then I'm going to take the shrimp and lay it out on a paper towel, dry it good, and then I'm going to salt it down and roll it. And I'll get this sauce going with the butter and the olive oil. And when it gets up there where the little bubbles are in the butter, I'm going to throw the shrimp in there until they get a tinge of pink and start curling just a bit. Pull them out, and about halfway there with the butter, before I even put the shrimp in, I might take just a little bit of butter and run it around my salad because I want it to wilt just a little bit. And then when I put my shrimp into the butter, I want to take it out early enough so it don't get tough. You know, shrimp will get tough if you overcook it. And so I'll lay those in the salad. And then I'm going to put a little more of the sauce I made to cook the shrimp in. And I'm going to put a little bit more of that in the salad, mix it up good, put a little bit more of this on there. And then I've got some French dressing in the refrigerator. I'll sprinkle a little bit of that over it as well. And shake it up good. And oh yeah, I don't want to forget my obviously my pickled eggs. But since I'm just making it for me, I'm only going to put one egg in there and chop it up pretty good. And the last time I made too much and then I ate too much of the salad. I was too full. I don't want to make that same mistake again. What do you say there, Mick? I'm just looking at the chat here. I wanted to see what's going on so I could respond a little bit. The shrimp, the way I cook them up is, of course, I have a lot of the butter and olive oil in there, which really gives them a pretty good bath when I cook them. And I don't overcook them. I'm real careful with that. And the garlic, I make sure there's plenty of garlic in it. And that's really the main sauce that's going in with my lettuce. But it's all going to go together in there, including the shrimp. So they get a lot of taste from everything that I'm cooking up. Yeah, well, one thing I forgot, a lot of times I'll throw just a bit of hot sauce in there or black pepper, one of the two. The black pepper makes it pretty hot when I do it, more so than Louisiana hot sauce. What the heck? What happened last night on the TV that you're talking about? I missed something here when I was talking, but John, how you doing this morning? Tell everybody there happy Valentine's Day for me. The shrimp, if I've got it hot enough in there, I only cook them about 3 or 4 minutes. What happens is it's not a matter of time, it's a matter of how your shrimp react to your temperature of what you're cooking it in. Once it gets a pink texture, and when you cut the vein out on the back, it leaves like a little trench in the back of the shrimp. And as soon as that tries to curl up a little bit, it's time to take them off. If you leave them on there too long, they'll get rubbery. You don't want to do that. Believe me, they cook through quick. Remember, I'm not putting anything on the outside. I don't put them in a covering of any kind. That ghost sauce, isn't that in the highest level of heat? But I like hot peppers, but I want to be able to taste the ingredient, or the main thing I'm cooking. So I'm very careful about how much hot stuff I put on anything, because once if you burn your tongue a little bit, you won't taste anything else. So you got to be so careful with your peppers. I like the taste of peppers. I'm used to it, so I can take quite a bit, but I don't try to overdo it. It's no contest. Well, okay, that's what happened. I'll be darned. Yeah, I didn't see that part on TV today for some reason. I was watching the news off and on. Wow. See, I didn't get COVID. I ended up with RSV. A little bit, just can't do hot peppers. But a little bit what I do, I'm careful with my peppers. I like hot peppers. And when I was young, I used to eat pepper sandwiches. But I try not to overdo the hot peppers. If they're so hot, you have to take a glass of milk with them. That's too hot. You just want the taste and a little bit of a kick is what you really want, especially when you cook them. When you cook them, it seems like it kicks the heat up in them a little more. If you do it right, the peppers taste good. To me, they almost have like a little bit of a sweet taste to them, but you miss Popeye's spicy onion rings. At least on the way in, horrible on the way out. I like that onion bloom that they make, where they bake it and it's got seasoning on it. And man, those are good. There was a restaurant around here that used to make them, and they always did a top-notch job. And that was one of my favorite places to stop when I would. That, and I forget, I used to get it. I think it was a sirloin, but it was tender the way they cooked it with that. Lucinda says you can't eat spice. John says spicier the better. Silverheart, I must have missed you in there somewhere. Noreen says a wrapped flour tortillas or deconstructed egg roll. Yeah, I know the seeds can be extra hot. I know I remove regular green peppers. I remove the seed part out, not because it's hot, obviously, but I just don't. The seeds are big enough; they interfere with everything you're trying to eat. Well, Kevin, you'll have to wear one of them sweatbands around your head if you're going to have something hot. That's all. Yeah, I think I've got some of those French fries you're talking about, Bearded, and they are pretty good. I just throw them on a cookie sheet. Well, I throw parchment paper down, throw them on the cookie sheet, and I cook them for about 15 minutes. And halfway through that, I flip them, and they're good. I like them. Dusty said can't even handle black pepper anymore. I'll tell you what, it feels hotter as I age. So I know that somewhere along the line, my body is getting where one of these days it's going to say no hot stuff, Ray. Timothy, I see you're on here. Good morning. Lauren, I see you're on here. Happy Valentine's Day. Little bit says never liked black pepper. I think I liked it because well, part of it's the heat, obviously, but always had it, tons of it kind of on milk gravy to kick it up a little bit. Yeah, I've seen your videos, Bearded. Yeah, you did a good job. Yeah, on my pizza once in a while, I like jalapenos. And like if I have, once in a while, if I mac and cheese or something, I'll dice the jalapenos up pretty small and then kind of sprinkle that out through the hot cheese and shake it up a little. The jalapenos, you never know what kind of a batch you're going to get. Sometimes they're hot, sometimes they're not. Either way, I like them. I like the taste of them. I don't know, Timothy. Right now, I don't know how long it's going to take to find out if the the judge is going to sign off from what the magistrate has sent up the ladder. Once that happens, then kind of figure it out from there. Yeah, as far as lawsuits, anything I do would be from my state, home state. That I feel more comfortable here in a lawsuit situation. I don't know if I still have my picture. The only beard I ever grew. I don't know what I did with those pictures. I know I had them up here on the desk, but trying to think where I put them. I'll pull it out. Next time I'm up live, I'll put one up there when I had a beard back when I was in my early 40s. Onion fritters, that sounds pretty good, Noreen. What's the matter? So my cat wants to get up here. She's such a spoiled little girl. She always wants to see what's going on. Okay, come on. There, look. Everybody wants to see what you look like. Well, here, there. Is that better? Everybody see her. For some reason, she thinks she has to be the center of attention all the time. Now she's done. She's back down. Let's see if I don't know where Sparky went. He was back there. What else we got here? I think we were gloating too much. You know what happened to me? I put that short video up. It's under 3 minutes, I think, and explained in there right out of the very beginning that it hadn't been dismissed. It was recommended to be dismissed, right? So down there in the chat, somebody said, well, it's only dismissed, as if I didn't know. I put it in there. It was obvious this person hadn't even looked at the video. They just went in there and wrote something in there. That's probably one of the, I hate to think how many times somebody has taken whatever is the title to the video and responded only to the title and not looked at the video itself. What it does, it makes somebody look pretty dumb. If you don't know what's in it, why comment? That just, to me, didn't make sense. But what little I seen out there, they kind of threw him for a loop of Belotho, whatever. The magistrate recommended that it be dismissed with prejudice. And chances are it probably will. I don't know what all Jeremy's going to do after that. I know he'll be looking for something for content. And the easiest content to get is to appeal higher up that could get pretty boring. And I don't know how many people will be able to hold on that. To me, it looked like maybe one of them on there is probably pretty worried where the next buck's going to come from, because right now this has been a big dollar content for all the surrounding ones that are involved in there. And it seemed like one of them was really kicking it up. They're asking for money several times during their video. And, you know, they're doing a shotgun. I need it for this or this or this or this. That's called e-big and doing stuff that way. And they're probably going for the last buck they can get while they can ride this horse before it keels over. It's really what it amounts to. With me, it didn't make a difference. I've never made any money off from it, never tried. If worse come to worse, John, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, the magistrate recommendation. Oh, heck. One thing about it, they'll probably go for the gold by Sunday. They'll all have all their stuff together and do something. I'm not worried one way or the other. I got a little relief not worrying about it for the last few nights. Unless more papers are served on me, I'm not going to worry about it. Marla. Good morning, Marla. Yeah, you know, Rich, he's been served so many times on there, according to Jeremy. Every time Jeremy wanted to kick it up a little bit, he claimed Rich got served again. He's kind of running out of people to serve, I think. That posse, but oh heck, I question the fact of whether I really wanted to serve him. I'm wondering if he was getting more traffic by claiming he was served, even knowing that he wasn't, because there's no way he would have known that he wasn't, or when he says he was served, you would take it that the server called him directly or something and said, "Hey, it's taken care of." So to me, this sounded like well, if you're not served and you say it was, that's a lie. And I guess what he proved is how many times he could lie over one thing. It's kind of like claiming your birthday 5 or 6 times a year for input to see what you can make off the internet. There's a lot of people out there that do have a lot of birthdays. Yeah, I think, Noreen, you might be right. It might be interesting to say the least. It's hard to tell what kind of story is going to be told, or if what will even be told. To me, if I was in his shoes, I'd be a little embarrassed, because people, even in his own chat, seem to be saying something about it from time to time, questioning what he's saying on there. Oh, there you are, Lisa. Good morning. Is it Lisa or Gabe? Lisa, okay. Good morning. I take it you'll be on here tonight, Lisa? Oh, and another thing, happy Valentine's Day. Is Gabe going to take you out for a supper tonight? Wow, 3 years. Ooh. Man, you probably didn't get any sleep if you were going through that stuff last night. When you go back, at least over 2 years ago, and you watch the Sundays, and if I remember right, it was usually after about 25 minutes. I used to hit it at 26 minutes most of the time. He would go off course and get a little wild, and you could tell his temperature was going up. His face would start turning red, his veins popping out, and he'd get carried away. And if you go back about 2 years, you'll find that one in there where he was calling people in town names, the people that he worked with. Um, he pretty much made his rounds to about everything in there, insulting people. And then he compared the village up there in Ohio to Otter Creek, if you remember right. And I thought, how in the heck can somebody shit on everybody he knows and nobody says anything back? Well, when I repeated it on my channel, that's the one video, he struck, and he did it without a cease and desist. It was just gone, bang, like that. But that's the way he does business, I guess. And I didn't do it in a malicious way when I did that either. All I did is I showed his actual words, his words, and did it as if he was being interviewed. If he didn't want that stuff on the internet, he should have kept his damn mouth shut. Oh, since it's Valentine's Day, if all you, everybody out there, you got a special lunch or supper that you're gonna take your partner out and have a little fun? Lee says it's fair use, Ray. Yeah, I didn't fight it at the time because I'd been giving up my telephone number, email address, and I think my Christian name. And he'd come out, I think a week or two later, and said one of the reasons he strikes people is so he can get the information he wants on them. The other day, you said, I think Kendra wasn't feeling too good. Is she okay now, Lisa? He didn't get, no, that's right. Good. I'm glad she is okay. Do a germ trivia night. We have to be careful how we step right now until we get our stuff back from the federal judge. uh, okay. I see. When I go on here like we're doing today, where I answer a couple questions, or it messes up uh, the people who are trying to follow our channels. They bitched about it because it said it don't make sense, and it gets boring when I talk to each one of you on here. And I think what it amounts to is they can't memorize who said what, and so when they're adding them up, and I'm talking to say 6 of you over the next 5 minutes or 10 minutes, it throws them way off. It's unfortunate that their memory is so lacking, but that's not everybody can get away with pretending, can they? Boy, Edie, I like scalloped potatoes and meatloaf. It's meatloaf sandwiches afterwards, yeah. My wife used to do that. She always made enough meatloaf, so the next day we had meatloaf sandwiches. Thank you, Tony. Oh, heck. Paulette. Uh-oh. Well, Paulette, 15 miles away, if you have a good lawnmower, you could make it in that and go to that next town and have a meal. You know what you ought to do, Paulette, is get you an electric bike. They go quite a ways nowadays. They're not too bad. Mo's ignoring you, Helen. You just got to yell louder. That's all. Put it in caps. You don't have a lawnmower either, Paulette. Well, get you one of them 3-wheel bicycles, and the ones that have a battery in them, and go that route. And you can even get one with the umbrella thing on top, so in case it rains, you can keep a little bit of the rain off from you. Yeah. if I was in the villages down there, I'd get me one of those electric bikes. I don't particularly care to have one here. I'm right off the highway. Pulling out that highway is not fun sometimes. I'm glad I've got a vehicle and a driver's license. Ms. Lori, I see you're on there. Thanks for the hugs. And happy Valentine's Day for anybody I forgot out there. I used to buy flowers on Valentine's Day for my wife. She likes flowers. And this time of the year, they're especially great to have because up north up here, there's nothing in the ground that's blossoming. So you bring a few of the flowers and most people like them. We had, over the years, of course, we've been married a long time. I had several boxes full of vases. Man, we just seem to accumulate stuff over the years. Yeah, most of those bikes, unless they're custom made, I wouldn't trust them over about 30, 35 mile an hour. They're, in general, they're not made to go at high speeds. It's a good way to get your neck broke. There you go, Helen. I think Mo Magic just got to answering you back. Hmm. Your van's been down for 3 years. Get somebody around there to work on it for you, if you know somebody. Well, Dusty said he's got an electric wheelchair. Ms. Laurie says, in my town, that's all I need is a scooter. I do have 2 ride-on mowers. That's Canadian redneck. That'll do. One even has a wagon. Yeah, I've got a John Deere rider and I've got a Cub rider. The Cub is a 0-turn mower is what it is. But the John Deere looks like a little tractor. What is actually wrong with that, Paulette? Yeah, Lucinda. Yeah, mine is a Cub too. It's pretty nice. I like it. It cut my time down in half when I bought that to mow with. And the first 6, 8 months, I couldn't use it. I had I was waiting to have my back operated on when I bought it. So my wife got to break it in, and I never did catch up with her with skills and using it. She would run that thing wide open. She loved it. And when they delivered it out here, I could barely get up on the trailer, and I didn't try to drive it off or anything. My back was too bad. And then after I got out of there, I didn't want to end up messing my back up. It was my second operation I had to have on it. And the first time around, within a year, my back had slipped back out. And so the second time I had a graft put in and those metal braces that goes up your back. And spacer. I had to have a spacer put in. So I've always followed the doctor's orders since then because I don't want to go through all that again. But once my back quit hurting, then I went back and did some of the stuff with the lawnmower, but never wide open because the bump. I didn't want to take a chance on it breaking that spacer loose or the bone graft. Yeah, I agree. I think they kind of award President's Day because it seems like there's a holiday of some kind every day of the year. And I don't even know when they enacted the President's Day as a holiday, but maybe it was in honor of Washington, our first president. Who knows? Washington, although they do celebrate Washington's birthday, I believe. I don't know. Oh, 1,000, 1,000. Ooh. That's a little harder to come up with all at once. On vehicles, I've got it almost all the time. I've worked on it myself. My garage out there, I've got most of the equipment it takes. Although I'm starting to get where it's harder to get underneath or try to work down in around the motor anymore. My joints don't work as well, and my hands are pretty sore most of the time. It's hard to hold on to a wrench. Wow, there's more. You need one of them lawnmowers that's got the sensors out there, like a car does, so it'll move out of the way when you're out there mowing. You won't run into stuff that way. Bobby, I didn't see you when you came on. I must have been talking. When my wife got on that zero turn, she spent maybe 5 or 10 minutes on it, and she had it pretty well down pat, and she never looked back. She loves Ryder mowers, so she did. I mean, she was hell on wheels out there in the yard with those. Well, Edie, here in this town, you can use a gator all over town, including down to, there's a little general store half a mile from the house here down the road. You can go down there too with it. They, I think it's been that way for the last 4 years. You can use golf carts, gators, side by sides. They have to be registered in town. They get a little sticker, I think. Now, for some reason, the minute my wife saw it, and it was a lot bigger than her. I mean, she looks pretty small on it. She could take that zero turn. And like I say, 5 or 10 minutes of practice out there, and she had it figured out. She liked it, and she was going to make sure she knew how to operate it. Now, I had one that had a steering wheel on it before that was built like a zero turn. It was a Toro, and it was called a zero turn, but it had a steering wheel on it. So she knew kind of the actions of what was supposed to happen. But those, when you're holding on to 2 sticks, that's pretty good. The next one up, I would have to get for it to see if I could confuse it, would be the one that's just one out there where you handle it back and forth like this and over and side. I bought her a electric wheelchair when I was able to bring her home for a week from the hospital, and that's what it was on that one. I never really got the chance for her to try it out. We kidded with her about signing her up for drag races and things with it, but it was something that she just didn't get a chance to get. She was ready to try it. It's just that she wasn't able to. She couldn't walk when I brought her home. So, oh. Oh, just Bobby C. Okay. You mean all this time I've been calling you Bobby? You never corrected me yet? Doggone it. I'll remember. Oh, President's Day is a combo Washington and Lincoln. Okay. You always love mowing, but Arthur won't let you do that kind of stuff anymore. You talking about arthritis? Miss Lori says that mowers are overkill now. She got a small yard. The owners keep the lawn mowed where you're at, right, Paulette? Yeah. Arthur seems to be my biggest problem in life at this time. Worse than Jeremy even. So there's none of my fingers work right. And when I close my hands up, my fingers cross, some of them under the other one. They're that crooked, and they hurt like heck in the mornings when I get up. So, He says she had to push mow the 3 acres that they mow now, and when he got a rider mower, and he started mowing the grass. Well, there was an upturn then, huh? You didn't have to do that stuff anymore. Yeah, I don't know if I could move into an apartment complex. It'd be tough. I've been independent so long that not doing or not having to do other things probably might get what do you call it? Pretty boring. A hot rod? Let's see, 9 cents. Here, let me go over just a few cars, okay? I've had a 48 Plymouth Coupe. My next one was a 1953 Ford with a hopped up Y block 54 motor. Then, let's see. I went to another 53 Ford when I got out of the service. And then 1956 Mercury two-door hardtop, a 1956 Oldsmobile hardtop. Let's see, 1955 Ford, a 1954 Ford. Again, I've had a lot of cars, by the way. Let's see, I had a hopped up 1960 Ford Starliner that was a drag car. I could spin the wheels. It had a posi traction in the back. And if I dropped it in, it was awful light in the back, by the way. The wheels would spin over 100 mile an hour for a short distance when I dropped the clutch on it. Let's see. I had a 54 Ford convertible, 55 Chevy convertible, 56 Chevy with rolled and pleated interior, 59 Chevy convertible with 348, 1960 Pontiac, 1959 Oldsmobile, 57 Chevy pickup in top-notch condition with rolled and pleated leather interior. I think it was, I had a 55, or no, I had a 57 Studebaker Silverhawk, not the Golden Hawk, but the silver one. Mustangs, I've had 64, several 65s. I had 67 Fastback. Those were all Mustangs. And then I bought a 74. Let's see, I had a 71 Boat Tail Buick, Riviera. I had a 54 Buick. I had a 1961 Starliner convertible, Oldsmobile. And then I had a 1964 Starliner two-door hardtop. I had a 1960 two-door hardtop Cadillac. I had a 58 two-door hardtop Cadillac at one time. Oh, let's see where. Oh, I had a 1964 Chrysler two-door with a 440 motor in it, and I bought it all. It was all hopped up. You could just smoke the tires on it. The guy that had it before me wrecked it. The insurance company paid to have it all redone, and I bought it from him when the insurance money got back from having it all redone. I had a 1965 Chevy SS, with the buckets and all that in it. I loved the classic cars. And I think by the time I was 40, I had somewhere around 300 cars at one time or another being a mechanic was a hobby with me. So I bought a lot of cars. My wife used to hate it if I was going to make a lot of money one week because she knew instead of bringing a paycheck, I'd bring a car. Now, obviously, when I'd get them all fixed up, I'd resell them. But it was kind of a joke around there. Big paycheck meant a new car of some kind. Back in '77, when the Thunderbirds changed to a different body style, I bought a brand new one back then. That's the only brand new car I've ever owned, was the '77 Thunderbird. Not too long ago, I had a 65 T-Bird. They call them square bodies. It was all, well, I did have the motor rebuilt to factory spec and the transmission. Dual glass packs. The interior was absolutely perfect. The body, zero rust on the body anywhere. The only thing that was wrong with it, I had it in the parking lot one day to show it off, and somebody backed in and knocked a hole in the grill, the chrome grill. Oh, I had a kit car since I lived here. Oh, I mean, I've had so darn many cars that I'd have to write them all down, but it was a hobby. And my garage, when we built it, I had, two classics sitting in there. I did have a '71 Mach 1 convertible, triple black. And a guy driving by, a guy that had a body shop bought it from me. I was out there working on it one day, and he offered me something for it, and I took it. And that had one of those hopped up, I think it's a 302 in it. It didn't have that great big block motor. It was just a small block Ford motor, but it was all hopped up. Let's see. I used to go to Mecum auctions. So, I'd bought several cars through Mecum. I even bought a '54 Chevy, one owner with about 40,000 miles on it. And before I left there, I sold it to somebody that missed it, that wanted it. Let's see, what else? There've been so many of them, it's hard to keep up with them. But you happen to ask me about something that I love. I dearly love classic cars, and I love hot rods. And I wasn't one of those that got out on a track and raced or anything like that. I didn't do that. And the first ticket I got when I was 16 years old, the day I got my driver's license, I got a ticket for drag racing in town. And so my drag racing days were over pretty quick, at least in town. And John says, if you're still here, look at your messages. Marla. Oh, okay. Mo says Ray was a wild thing. I'll tell you, all my friends that were into cars, they would come by my house and we'd work on them on weekends. They all knew I had a love for cars, and I never charged any of my friends anything to work on their cars back then. I'd learned from my dad how to do the mechanical work on them from the time I was just a little kid. And so I was always in love with anything that had a motor on it. I discovered cars way before I discovered girls. And in high school, there was two things on my mind: girls and cars. Certainly not school. Yeah, Heineken, I had a '64 Mustang. Yeah, they were the first ones out there. And, they use the same body as like a Falcon, unitized. And Falcon. And there was only a 4-bolt rim on there. And you could get a 6 or a V8. The V8 was a 260. And I'd bought one. The guy had hopped up to 260. And when you slam the gears in there, when you went into second, it literally would spin the car part way in the road. Like they wanted to turn in forever for some reason. That car, it was probably one of the fastest I ever had. It didn't have much weight, and they were almost overpowered if you hopped up that V8 that was in it. Yeah, you guys have seen my garage because I used to put the videos up when I was out there. And if you ever looked, it's lined with tools on 3 sides. And I've got portable workbenches, and then I got a permanent bench that I used to sit at. So when you're looking in there and you see multiple toolboxes and stuff, I've had my tools. I don't know if I ever threw anything away when I was younger. I kept most of them. And when we moved in here, I sold off a lot of tools. And I had all kinds of carpentry tools too. Yep. Some of my pickups were something. I had a 19, I think it was a 64 Ford half ton. And I had, no, it wasn't 64, it was newer than that. 1974 maybe. Anyway, a friend of mine put a 428, I believe it was a 428 Cobra motor in it. And that thing, no, it didn't get very good gas mileage. It got about maybe 8 miles to the gallon. But you couldn't hardly hold it down if you got on it. That thing would just smoke the tires. That was probably one of the hottest cars. That and that 440 Chrysler motor I had, that had just more than you could handle just about. I loved it when the cars started having bucket seats and floor consoles and all that. Usually what would happen is I'd see what I liked and then I'd end up with it. So, eventually I'd keep looking till I found it. In the town I lived in back then, I knew all the car dealers. And when they'd get something in and need a little work that they thought I'd like, I'd get a phone call. And I used to paint a lot of cars. I did custom paint back then on the side for friends of mine. And the best one I ever had, I believe it was a 58 Cadillac. And it was the guy's name that I did it for was Watson. And it had about 7 coats of paint on it. When I got done with it, I had spider webbing and, I had metal flake, on different layers in it. And the only thing I told him when he pulled out, I said, never park it in the sun. I think a half hour in the sun would have peeled that up. He could have picked paint off. It was really thick. And that paint back then, it didn't take long outside, the sun got to it, it would peel the paint off. A lot different. The favorite paint I had that I liked to paint with was called Emerald. It would dry in about 20 minutes and it was hard. It would chip easy is the biggest problem, and you couldn't really buff it out very well. If you wanted to buff out your mistakes, you had to have more of a lacquer paint. But I liked the paints back then. I mean, today, the last time I did a paint job, and I only did it on a piece of the vehicle, my wife had put the back up, and we had a SUV, a Mercury SUV, and she took the tailgate and flipped it up and hit the garage door and scraped the full length of it, the thing, and it took it all the way to the metal. And that's the last one I used. No, it wasn't the last one. But anyway, it was one of those where you have your primer, base coat, then you have a paint with a metallic in it, coat, and then you have your clear coat over the top of that. Expensive. But remember that white pickup that was in my garage? The quarter panel had to be worked on that, and I did most of the rework after I got it from the dealership. It was kind of a mess, but Richard, how are you doing today? Everything going good with you, Rich? Breaking German still, and oh, okay. Uh, oh, hey, I had one of those little Chevelle type Chevys that had a 283 in it. And you couldn't get at the spark plugs unless you pulled the engine. It filled the whole engine compartment. I think it was a 62 wagon is what it was. Man, would it run. I didn't keep it very long though. I like those Chevelle Malibus when they come out. The 64 was really neat. And then when they come out with the 65, 66, the SS version, man, those were top of the line. And I didn't own those. I wish I did. They had that one that was the 396 in it. That was one of the prettiest cars they ever put out, from Chevy. Yeah, anything I do is going to be from Iowa, Rich. I had a firm passed on to me by another lawyer, just to let you know. Will be meeting with that person, but I'm giving myself some breathing room before I do anything. Yeah. Some of the stuff that happened around here, that the guy that stocked my house was doing it on behalf of J-Hip, and we caught the guy. When he was out here taking pictures of my place a few weeks ago, we caught him, got him. At the time, the chief asked me if I wanted him to go over and have a talk with him. I said, nope. So I've already got it taken care of. But I've got pictures of where he lives, and he's made at least 3 trips down here to my place. I think he's trying to get a license number off my travel trailer. I think that's what his intent was. But he got caught taking pictures, or at least seeing. Let's put it that way. And he parked his car, or his truck rather, a block away at the old Casey station here in town. He knows by now that I'm aware of him, so I haven't had any other problems. And if I do, 5 minutes at the police station, and the problem will go away. So. Yeah, the 327s, back in its day, it was more. I think it just had a little longer throw than the 283. I've had hopped up 283s over the years. They were around a long time. Those short stroke motors are really good for like a block, maybe 2 blocks. That white pickup you see out here, that is there was 6.2, 400 and some horse. And I could smoke the tires on that one, and it was all-wheel drive. So, and that was a Cadillac. I don't know if you ever drove a Cadillac pickup, but they're kind of a dream truck. Oh my! I think it's got a 91 S10 single cab long bed, 4.3. Still own it. Yeah, I had an S10. Can't remember what year it was. I mean, it's been over 20 years ago since I had it. It had everything in it. I mean, it was a beautiful little car or truck, and it rode nice. Lauren says their first car was a 72 Dodge Dart Swinger, bandana yellow with a black top. I remember them cars. Oh, heck. Yeah, in '76, I had a super cab Ford, and it had, I was thinking it was a 390. It was a big block engine. It had the Brougham interior in it. I mean, you couldn't hear a sound outside of the truck. It was nice. Super cab. Had the long bed on it. I was in business back then, so. Oh. Okay, Lutheran. That's William Sickle, 659 Northwest 2nd, or 2D, 572 57980. Iowa, 2003. The Supreme Court committed fees when a party acts in bad faith, excessively, wantonly, or for oppressive reasons. That sounds like exactly which one I would want. All right, thanks. Oops, didn't get that just right. Try to make a copy here. Got it. I'm going to save that, Richard. I have a friend of mine that I went to school here. I'm going to talk a little bit with him too over it. He wanted to have some sit down and have some coffee anyway. He wanted to know how things went on this case. So I think I'll talk to him a little bit. And I'm going to make a copy of that case. And I'm going to use that for the subject to talk to him about. He's retired, but he goes in and I think once a week. He's still part of the firm, or part owner yet, I think. Still one of the partners. He just isn't active right now. But oh, you had one of those Le Mans 74 luxury. Did you have the one with the buckets and console in it, or bearded? John, how, just for the heck of it, how are the people feeling around there in Otter Creek since the news has got out about the magistrate making a recommendation that everything be dropped on our case with prejudice? Have you gotten any feedback from people in town? Just wondering. Well, Gabe, how are you doing in there? I'm glad to see you there. Well, Gabe, I'm glad you agreed to get up on stage up there for the karaoke. Now my daughter her and I talked it over. We thought maybe you and I and my daughter and Lisa, we could all get up there at the same time. That way we can rely on each other. We'll go up there as a quartet. How's that sound? Well, Bobby, I hope you had big pockets or good insurance. That way, Gabe, we can cover for each other. We can point at each other over if one of us gets off key. That way, nobody will know for sure who it was. Yeah, we could sing like a barbershop songs, bearded. Well, it says someone needs to come and help peel the potatoes. Their hands are getting cold. Do like I do. I just wash the potato off, chop it up, and cook it. That way you don't have to worry about it. And if you get those, Marlon, if you get those yellow potatoes, the skins are thin and tender, so they're easy to fix right up. Oh, you're talking about for your scallop potatoes. Can't you leave the skins on for scallop potatoes if you want? Especially if you do those yellow ones. Oh, potato salad. Yeah. Do you ever make up some of that German potato salad? Well, John, I would hope that people feel a lot better around there, not having to worry about what's behind them or who's going to come up behind them and things like that. That at least they know uh, maybe there's light after all out there. That it's not all going to be doom and gloom around there. I don't know how a town like that can put up with all the BS that went on and worry about what's next. Yeah, Gabe says dirty taters. That's what they call them. But I tell you something. I do wash the potatoes when I cook them up that way. Cube steak and potato salad for JD's Valentine dinner. Okay, Marla. You love the German potato salad and they don't. I wonder why that is. I love potato salad, the German potato salad. Ruth, how you doing, Ruth? Happy Valentine's Day. if you're going to be there, President Compassion in May, it looks like we'll get to shake hands. Noreen says mayonnaise with pickle juice stirred in for potato salad. Okay. Ruth is making some boneless ribs today. You know what? I've got, doggone, I wish I'd have thought about it earlier. I've got about 3 or 4 racks down in my freezer. I could have took one out yesterday and thawed it out. Mashed potatoes, you can make them about anything. I've got something in mind for mashed potatoes that I'm going to try out. And it has to do with cooking them up ahead of time and then mashing them to form like a bed. And that stuff I loaded my potato with about 2 weeks ago, or almost 2 weeks ago, over the top of it. And then putting a couple of different types of cheese over that, and then rebake it in the oven. I think that would be a great dish, a main dish, and it'd have everything in it. Like, matter of fact, it's making me hungry right now. To these, we are talking about food, right? I was. Well, what I planned on doing, 9 Chins, is I was going to bum for a while off from Gabe, and then when he got tired, then I was going to go to Robbie's, and then if he got tired, I was going to advertise down there for somebody else that didn't mind a bum coming in for a day or two. But I wasn't going to be a pest. What I planned on doing is leaving before the 3rd day. That way I don't wear anything out. So if I go from one place to the next, to the next, to the next, it would be, I could still leave there as friends, right? All kidding aside, I will be staying in one place pretty much, and then driving out from there. I'm going to take my time coming and going, getting there and going back, because it's kind of a last big hurrah. And my son-in-law is going to join us as soon as his vacation starts. And it's looking like a pretty good time. Reason I haven't nailed any dates or anything like that down is because right now it's kind of floating up in the air as to exact dates. And once I commit, then I got to prepay some things. And I don't want to prepay and then find out I can't get there or can't get back. So making most of the purchases for the trip ahead of time. A tomahawk steak, that should be pretty easy to make. Matter of fact, if you want to buy the ribeye roast, we'll just cut it up right away and we'll all have a tomahawk steak. How's that? Well, I haven't drank in quite a while, just to let you know. But I figured on one of my favorites I've been thirsty for was margarita. So I plan on having a couple margaritas, for celebration. I probably won't be much of a drinker because it's been so long since I drank that one of them will probably knock me out. But I thought it'd be a good time to go ahead and celebrate and have one or two while I'm down there. And then after that, maybe there'll be virgin drinks, taste like the real thing and not necessarily be real. But I am planning on having at least one or two. So. Yeah. I should have everything nailed down here pretty quick. I've been, there's some things I had to buy supplies and stuff in anticipation. When I sold the motorhome, I loaded the motorhome down with things. And unfortunately, I should have used my head, kept them in the garage, and because I wouldn't have had to buy anything for this trip. I always had, my motorhome was set up so that all I had to do was walk out and turn the key and take off. It always had just about everything except for food supplies on it and ready to go. Dishes, silverware, linen, clothes, tools, the sanitizers for all the tanks. I mean, you name it, it was there. And over the years, we'd learned a long time ago, always keep it stocked because there might be times an emergency come up, you need to use it for something, or you just plain got an itch and said, I want to go out and go. And you could get in the motorhome and go. That last motorhome had 160-gallon capacity. And I got right around 9 miles per gallon. So it would go a long ways before I had to fill it up again. It's like money in the bank. Let's see. Yeah. I know my wife and I had thought about the 2 motorhomes we wanted in our lifetime. We've had 4, but there was 2 that we were more dream than anything else. And we saved over years. And so the first one we bought was a Holiday Rambler, and it was beautiful. And then we bought a Dutch Star. We got to the point where we wanted a diesel pusher, and so I traded the Dutch Star in on the diesel pusher, and that was the last one I owned, and I sold it about 2 years ago. I wish I had it, but at my age, it's a little harder to handle. And the car that we bought to pull is my MKX that I've got in the basement down here. It's it's a all-wheel drive SUV. It's a Lincoln MKX. And it was one of the few cars, that and the Ford Edge, that you could pull behind a motorhome without having to put it on a trailer. You wouldn't ruin the transmission. And so for quite a few years, that's what we used to get around the country. We pulled it behind our Holiday Rambler, and we pulled it around our Dutch Star. So Newmar is the one that makes the Dutch Star. And it was a 42-footer with 3 slides. A lot of room, a lot of room. The other thing is, I don't think I can afford anymore a big motorhome like that. They're extremely expensive, even sitting in your drive out there. And during COVID, it sat out there. I spent over 15 grand on it sitting in my driveway. Service was running me better than $1,000 a year just for service, oil change, grease jobs, things like that. Releveling and checking all the valving, and and tires, you wear them out. They either age out every 7 years or you wear them out, one of the two. And most of the time, I didn't run past 6 years for tires on anything. It just isn't worth it. Going down the road, you want it safe. So the tires run me anywhere from about $650 to $1,000 a piece, depending on what brand I bought. And There was 6 tires on there. Well, the last time was more than 1,000 apiece because I put new tires on it about 6 months before I sold it. So, and the insurance was expensive. That last year I insured, I think it was around $1,400 or $1,500 just for the motorhome. And they don't give you a discount for license plates here. It's all a matter of what the price was when you first bought it. That's what they charge you till you pull it into a junkyard. The best, if a person is looking for the most reasonable price to travel, might be like what I'm doing. I've got a half-ton pickup. I have a light-duty travel trailer. The travel trailer is 28 feet, has one slide. It's considered a 2-bedroom. And, like the living room and kitchen are combined. It's not a whole very big area in that part. It's got a bathroom. The second bedroom is bunk beds. It's got plenty of storage. It only weighs around 7,000 pounds. It's a light one. It's got a closed underbelly in it. It's heated down there. Everything is heated. So, and air conditioned. My plates here are, I think, around $45 a year, I think. Insurance is cheap on it. It's easy to pull. I've got a pickup out there. So when you get where you're going, you already have the vehicle you can run around in. I mean, the vehicle I've got is a quad cab Ford F-150 Laramie. I mean, it's an ideal setup. It don't cost you much. The only thing is it didn't have anywhere near the room that the motorhome had, and it won't ride as nice when I go places. The difference is, we're talking thousands of dollars a year difference in just maintaining a vehicle. And so now that I'm up there in age, I can afford the travel trailer. I don't think I could justify the cost of another big motorhome. On top of that, I don't even know if I could handle it on the highway, a big motorhome anymore. There's a lot of, when you put a vehicle behind it, there's a lot of stuff, a lot of length there you're messing with. Where with this travel trailer, it's not anywhere near as bad. You can see around a lot better with it. It's just not as heavy. You don't have to really worry as much. And if something breaks down, hopefully, if it's a travel trailer, you can disconnect from it and go get what you need and bring it back. So I would say if you're going to start out doing something like that for vacation or camping, start out with a travel trailer or a fifth wheel, a small fifth wheel, and a half-ton pickup to make sure you really want to do it before you commit all that money. Yeah, well, my air conditioner works good, John. Oh, heck. I was hoping that, John, that he'd turn the barnuminium into a storage thing with overhead garage doors, and that you'd put a mini split in there, and I could just pull my travel trailer in there, and I wouldn't have to use any utilities. I could just use your barnuminium. Yeah. Oh, wow. Lifetime on trailer. That's great, Heineken. I don't understand why now. Even here, my Cadillac, I think my plates, they're over 400. Maybe it's closer to 5. I can't remember. It's not a new car anymore. I bought it just before COVID started, so they haven't knocked it down yet. Yeah, President Compassion says, yeah, the maintenance is just a plain pain in the butt the older I get. Yeah. This one out here, it's easy to maintain because it's small, but because of the smallness of it, you get kind of cramped too. And I've got two pets. I've got a cat and a dog. So the main reason I would even mess with a trailer or anything is because I like to keep the pets with me wherever I'm at. Obviously I've always taken my pets with me, and that was part of the reason of having a motorhome or a travel trailer of some kind. Yeah, mine's got my tires are 2 years old on the travel trailer right now. Well, you have two RV hookups on you. There's a lot of people down that area that don't like me, John. We'd almost need to run your fences up a few more feet and get them all the way around your property. If I pulled in there, there's between the threats you've had and what I've had, I can't imagine either one of us surviving too long. The biggest trouble with tires, I know you need plenty of ply on them, but it goes without saying, especially in the sidewalls. When they advertise 8 or 10 ply, remember your sidewall is where you have the biggest problem. And the other thing is the heat and cold on your tires. If you really want to keep your traveling, in my estimation, is under 60 mile an hour. You heat those tires up, and eventually back and forth like that, depending on the seasons that you run it in, you can end up losing the cap off in there. The other thing is, depending on what kind of a road you're on, those sidewalls take a beating. And when they blow out, they take part of the side of your trailer out. They also take the belly out. It's a mess when they get done with them. In the motorhome, knock on wood, I never had a flat tire or a blowout. So I was always lucky on that end. Now my trailer, I do have those bars on the side so it don't sway too bad. Right now I'm looking for wireless brakes, brake control. And the one I found, they don't make it for my model of truck. So I may end up having to just take it in and have it full wired. I'm not sure. Hi, everybody. Hope everything's okay. Yeah, that's right, Heineken. Those trailers take a beating. You know, years ago, those refrigerators, the piping was too thin in them. You know, they all had ammonia in them, by the way, for to make them work. Anyway, they would overheat and explode. Refrigerator would. And the fix for it was a thermostat or like it would kick the power off on it when it get too hot. Well, most people bypass that because it would keep turning them out. They all overheated, whether they were good or not, and the fix didn't work worth a crap. I upgraded the refrigerator I had in the motorhome, but man, that's expensive. If I remember right, I think it was like $1,800 for that refrigerator. It was expensive, and that's not labor. So if I had to replace something in this one, like a refrigerator, I'd put one of those small refrigerators like you have in a house, and they don't use a whole lot of juice up anyway. And if you have one good sized battery, it'll keep it running quite a while. I'm talking days for just a refrigerator. And you can just put it separate, solar, the whole works, and you won't have a whole lot into it. So, as a matter of fact, you can do the whole thing less than what it costs you just for the refrigerator, regular refrigerator that has takes gas or electric. Just go electric, get a converter, put a decent battery in there, a big one, and a solar panel, and let it keep up with it. Most time it will. Oh. Well, that one thing about tire pressure, I ordered a setup for the truck and the trailer this morning on Amazon for the heat and the tire pressure. So I should have all that stuff in sometime next week. I hope on those. I didn't want to take a chance on because of the amount of miles I'm going to put on it of having a problem with tires overpressurizing and heating or something where they blow out. So I have taken care of that at least to this point. Yeah, happy Valentine's Day to you too, Betty. Thanks. That goes for everybody in there. I'm going to have to get off here pretty quick. I don't want to interfere with, I don't know whether you guys have got dinners you're going to have with your significant other or suppers. So, but in any case, if it's a supper at home, which my advice is take your significant other out. No mess, no cooking, no standing around the kitchen. But Ray, that's why your generation built the country, wisdom and critical thinking. Present compassion. Valentine's breakfast this morning at a nice cafe this morning, very pleasant. That would be, one thing whenever I had a breakfast out somewhere, which was because of being in construction, that happened a lot, is it was relaxing. It's a relaxing start before you get into the heat of the day. Probably breakfast can be one of your most favorite meals of the day. And you can eat all you want usually. I mean, that for that energy that it gives you, that burst. At supper time, if you overeat, you pay for it dearly. When you go to lay down, your stomach hurts you. and your stomach is growling and raising Cain and all kinds of stuff. But you get to my age, you want less at night and more in the morning. It's the best way to go. And what I do on my second meal is I eat it when I'm comfortable with it. In other words, if I'm hungry, I eat. If I don't, I snack. I mean, it's a win-win situation. I love snacks, so I don't mind missing a meal if I can have something to get to the next meal. And then supper time, I eat as light as I can. Yeah, Betty. It's nice that somebody can bring something into you like that. Um, it goes without saying, especially when kids volunteer to do it. That means a lot. Bruce says the community in their building catered in a breakfast today. That's pretty good. That's a good deal. Thank you, Miss Lori. And my wife and I celebrated our I think it was our anniversary. Oh, by golly, we were on vacation, and we went to Niagara Falls, and we got to tour the Canadian side over there. And the Canadian side was impressive. It really was neat. The American side for Niagara Falls there was unkept and kind of dirty on that side. It didn't look the best. Which is, they had some kind of program there for prairie, whatever it was, natural grasses and stuff. And what it really looked like, it was unkept. I mean, it's nice enough to remember what your country maybe was at one time, but it's also nice to have things trimmed up and beautiful bushes and trees and things like that, and a place where you can sit down and have a picnic. What I seen on the Canadian side was beautiful flowers and everything was neat as a pin. I don't know if it's that way right now. I'm going back a lot of years ago that I went up there, or that we went up there rather. Well, you know what I had today for breakfast? Pancakes and gravy. I know some of you probably don't think that's the gravy part's that great, but it is. Put a little bit of milk gravy with sausage in it, and over the top of 3 or 4 pancakes, and it's great. And they're rib stickers that way too. Yeah. Yeah, the Canadian side is beautiful up there, Bearded. Yeah, I think so, Miss Laurie. My wife were lucky. When we had anniversaries or holidays, we were able to be together on just about everyone, and we never, from the day we got married, missed an anniversary together. I know I told that story a lot of times where I was going to come. That we lived in Texas, and I was going to come back from California if they didn't bring somebody out there to take over the job site. And I told them, heck, what I was going to come home. And they called my wife up and asked her if she wanted to join me in California. And they called me back and said, well, they were going to put my wife on an airplane and send her out there. So I said, great. And they did. They put her on a plane and they gave her a rental Lincoln to drive around out there while she was there. So she stayed out there with me. I was only out there for a short period anyway, it was a couple months. And so she got to stay the whole time on the company docket, the money. So it was quite a gift from the company I worked for back then. We had a lot of good times. She got to, we went around California and looked at different things. And one of the things we wanted to see was the Big Sur out there in California. So I have a picture of her standing out on a rock the tide was down far enough she could get up on this rock that was out there where there's like a little jetty going out. And I got a picture of her. She had a big smile on her face from being somewhere where she wanted to go. Back when we grew up, they always had pictures of the Big Sur. Everything was beach party time when we were young, and when we were going together and got married. So you talk about a good time. We did, and we went to car shows. We drove down through the Napa Valley to look at vineyards. It was, all I can tell you is we had a good time out there, even though I was having to work. The weekends and the nights were ours to do whatever we wanted. Great food, great people. It was just a ball. We did the same thing out in New York. The places that we got to go, that the company took care of us on, was really something that, it was a different time, a different era. And I can think about them now. It kind of keeps you going when you get into old age, just having good memories. I think I have a picture of us standing at the highest point on the East Coast there in Vermont, at the very top of one of the mountains out there. And there's a restaurant not too far from there, a sandwich shop. And that's where we had our lunch. We bought sandwiches, cold meat sandwiches, I think it was. And we went down the other side and went down into Connecticut, and we visited one of our daughters down there. And like I say, we got around most of the United States, coast to coast, north to south. We were there at one time or another. Yeah, out there, when we went to Niagara Falls, we also went down the Canadian side down to, what I think they call it Second Falls. I don't know if you've ever seen it or not. Over the years, Niagara Falls has creeped backwards, but they had a place down there called Second Falls. Mike says he's 40 miles from Napa. Yeah, Ruth, there's so many things. We were lucky. The good Lord kind of blessed us. It seemed like we would think about something, and next thing you know, we got to go do things. We planned stuff out years ahead of time, and we got married young, had our children young, and we were able. By the time we were in our mid-40s, it was just my wife and I, and we were able to do a tremendous amount of things. It's funny how life is, that you can miss out on your teen years, but the most important years are the ones where you're an adult and you can do all the things you wished you could do when you were a teen. Second childhood, I guess you could say. When I was in Texas, you could go back and forth across the border without any problem. And like you could buy Corona on the Mexican side pretty cheap compared to when you cross the border, and they didn't say anything to you about taking a case of beer across. It's just a different world back then than it is today. It's been 40 years since I was down there, I think, something like that. Not quite, maybe, but it's been a long time. I loved Houston, Texas, by the way. Well, San Antonio, I really liked too. Man, had a lot of memories, San Antonio. And we went to, I can't remember where the horse races were between Louisiana and Texas, but we went to the races down there, Orange County or something like that. Yeah, when I was in high school, I was more like the Fonzie, the way I dressed back then. I had a black leather jacket, a motorcycle jacket. When I was a freshman, I had a Whizzer motorbike. I was the only one in high school with something like that. But I wore a boot, looked a lot like a Wellington boot. And it looked like it had silver conchols and stuff on the boot. And the clothes looked tailored. It was a time when people wore clothes that fit. It was different. If you had long hair, it might be a DA. They call it a duck's ass, or a flat top DA. There was a lot of people who kind of adopted the Elvis look, as far as sideburns, maybe not quite down to here, but fairly long hair and stuff. So, well, I think maybe I'm gonna call it a day. It's almost 11:30 Central Standard Time, but I want to thank everybody for coming in here and having a little talk, and hopefully I'll see you in whatever program we get back up today or tonight or and tomorrow. Tomorrow for sure. No, not tomorrow, but yeah, tomorrow. Oh, let time get away from me. So everybody out there, you have a good day, and I'll see you on the next go around. Yeah, you have a good weekend too, a little bit. And Miss Lori, have a great day. Nine Chins. Thanks for chatting, Ray. Nine Chins, I'm glad I found you on here. My goodness. I couldn't figure out how I was going to be able to get you back on the channel. Tammy J, everyone have a great day. That kind of rhymed, didn't it? You know what? This really wasn't a bad chat, and we didn't have to talk about anybody in a nasty way to have a good time, did we? It's surprising what a holiday can do for you, and we all deserve some time off from time to time, so we can just do whatever the hell we want. We can talk. We can think about what we want, work towards it if we want. The best part of it is we can talk about food without getting out of hand. And sometimes it makes you so hungry, you go right to the kitchen and start throwing stuff on the counter and putting it together. I know you guys have done that to me a couple of times. There for a while, I wasn't doing any real cooking. And thank goodness for these chats, because you guys get me into the mood of fixing something or getting hungry, and I go out and I'm either going to put it together or go buy it somewhere, one of the two. John Cook, ta-ta, I see you. And I'm glad you come up with that ta-ta. It's an easy way to get out of a conversation. All right, Bearded, have a good day. Thank you for those videos out there. I'm going to be famous. No matter where I go now, I see your videos. So they're catching on for sure. Be safe. Winter weather is a challenge. You know what? Where I'm at here for the next few days, maybe not today, but it's supposed to get up in the 60s, and that is going to be quite a deal. Mo Magic, glad to see you on there. I had an idea for one of your IAs. One of these days, I want to discuss it with you. And I've got a video that I would like to, when we do that, I'd like to send you so that you can remix it. It's one that I got nailed with. So, but I know you could fix it so I wouldn't get nailed. Marla, good to see you in here, and I'm glad you were able to make it this morning in here. Lauren, you have a good weekend and happy Valentine's Day. Present Compassion, thank you for being here. Mo Magic, you said you will try. You'll love it. It's a pretty good one. It's just that I put it away quite a while ago, and I didn't do it voluntarily. Okay. All right, Doreen, you have a great day. Anybody that needs prayers, and I'll pray for you. I know some of you have been in pretty rough shape. Some of you have spouses that things aren't looking the best for. Whatever you do, my wife and I never left the house before we said we loved each other. Never. And I wish I could say that now, but I can say it in my prayers when I talk to my wife. But while you can, don't miss a minute. Minutes are very valuable, more valuable than anything you can ever save in your entire life. With that, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to end the stream where? Right here. Whoops. Right here.